Well, here we are, as ever, the final nation to release the list. Belmadi has named his squad, and in fact, he's made it very, very interesting. He's named a 23-man squad. It's pretty much as close as you're going to get to the squad that we take to Ivory Coast in less than 2 months' time. He's named 23 names. He's a clever guy. He's a clever man. He knows he can only take 23 to the tournament. He's had to make some big calls, whittling down with some big decisions, and this is the 23 he's gone for. So let's take a look at what he's done, because there's some big calls here, and of course there will be a few players potentially coming back from injury come January, hopefully, and also some players here may well get injured in the run-up to January. So the three goalkeepers, I like how we've come full circle. If you watch the videos from a few years back, we talked about how we had no idea what a squad would look like. We talked about how we were naming squads, picking players to try them out, see if they're any good. We were talking about we didn't even know who the #1 goalkeeper was, and we were talking about we didn't know what the best Algeria 11 was. I think we're closer to knowing those four things than ever. These three goalkeepers will go to the Cup, assuming they're all fit. Anthony Mandrea selected. He will be Algeria's #1 goalkeeper playing in League 2 going into the competition. And let's not remember, although many are seeing these next two World Cup games as warm-ups for the AFCON, these are World Cup games. We cannot afford to have any slip-ups. One slip-up of the tiniest nature, and you saw what happened in Bleeder, costs you a place. Doesn't matter if it's 5 or 10 teams going, we have to win both these games. Okay? We have to win both these games. And these players also be playing for their place on the plane. So there's lots at stake. So Mandrea in goal, with Zugba as the backup second goalkeeper and Ounas and Bounedjah as the third goalkeeper, who's not even touched a football, I think, in the past month, because the Algerian league was brought to a halt to show solidarity with the Palestinian people. And of course, as ever, Free Palestine and thoughts and prayers do remain with the Palestinian people day in, day out, because what is happening there is awful. So that's the three goalkeepers. The 8 defenders, it will be these 8 defenders unless something dramatic happens, and even with that it's still these 8 defenders, because Yusuf Atal getting suspended by the league and his club was pretty dramatic, and yet he still finds himself here. He's going to be on a special training programme to make sure he's fit going into the competition, and also, like I said before, the fact that he's banned from playing could be a blessing in disguise, because it means he cannot get injured, which was one of the biggest worries every time you saw Atal play, because you knew he would play his heart out, run his socks off, and that's what a big reason why he gets so many injuries is because he just works so blooming hard. So Yusuf Atal, no Mehdi Lloris in any position in this squad. Kevin van den Kerkhoff, who interestingly in the past few weeks for Metz has been playing as a right winger or a right wing back. He is the backup to Yusuf Atal. I think he's shown he is a more than capable backup in that position. The two left backs finally binned off Lucif. I don't know what he was doing here. It's like he'd won a little competition on the back of a cornflakes box to be in the squad. Ait-Nouri is going to be the first choice left back, and Larouci now is the backup in that area. He's got the place over Djamel. They're both not playing that much football, but I suppose sitting on the bench in the Premier League is better than sitting on the bench at the bottom of League 1. But I hope Larouci gets more playing time in England. So you've got Ait-Nouri and Larouci. And of course, Ben Sebaini, although will be a centre-half mainly with us, he can play left-back if we need him to at any point. So let's not forget that as well. You've got Tuba in there. You've got Mandy in there, who refused to take part in the 1 minute silence prior to Villarreal's game against Maccabi Haifa, because the 1 minute silence was just for Israeli victims and not for Palestinian victims. So wholeheartedly respect and stand with the decision that Issam Mandy took in that. And then Tugai as well as a centre-half. So all in all, that defence is a lot stronger than it was looking 12, 18 months ago. I'm very happy with it. I do hope they all stay fit. One injury could ruin that whole back line. So these keepers and these defenders are going to go to the tournament assuming they're all fit to play. That's the way I see it. The midfielders and the attackers, that's where the big decisions are going to be made. And we've seen in recent squads the players like Zorgan get called. And I couldn't understand why. They were awful. and then they were getting picked again. Now when it comes down to the nitty gritty, not when we're playing Uganda and Niger, actual World Cup games and AFCON football around the corner, he's done it properly. Sofiane Feghouli has done an unbelievable job winning his place back, because he lost it. People thought he was past it. He left Galatasaray. He moved to another club in Turkey, to I think Karagümrük, and he's been sensational. He showed in the recent games with the national team that he's still sensational and he's still fit to play 90 minutes. But just having that experience there, again, another player in the middle that's won the AFCON before. The big thing about these midfielders is Benasser's not there. We don't know what Benasser's recovery plan is going to look like. I doubt AC Milan are going to want to rush him back. But also, even if he was playing again December, coming on as a substitute, is he going to be fit to play a tournament? That's a big call. I do wonder if Belmadi takes Benasser and hopes he can play the knockout stages. He could do that. That's my guess, because if he's not fully fit, you don't need to risk him against the likes of Angola and Mauritania. But by the time the knockout stages come in February and you're deep into the competition, to bring back a fully fit Benasser would be fantastic. So he's going to have to take someone's place in the squad if fit. And don't ask me who, because it's a big decision to make. You've got Shaibi listed as a midfielder. I agree with that. I think he's much better as a number 8 than a left or a right winger. I think he's more effective as a number 8 as well. Of course, Houssam Aouar, assuming he can hopefully stay injury free, inshallah, he will be in there to Ivory Coast. Badawi and Zerouki, I think you can't really argue with those choices. I think Zerouki's been really, really good in the past few weeks. And the return of Nabil Bentaleb, and people making a big deal out of this, I think it was never in doubt. The only reason he's not played recently much is because, again, a player that's good was injured, got a good move in the summer to Lille, playing European football. He's been good playing for them. He's been playing the last few games for Lille in Ligue 1. I've got no problems with Bentaleb. In fact, I'm very happy with that selection. That's a solid midfield for me, and Benasser's not even in it. So it's only going to get better, and maybe even Yassine Adli one day as well. So glad to see Zorgan not here, just literally taking some space. Kadri, hard done by, but you got to fight for your place. And Belmadi sees Kadri closer than we do, and he's taken the decision to leave him out. But he's certainly done the good decision to leave Zorgan out. And then the attacking areas. Again, let's look at who's not here. We talked about Said Benrahma and what happened, and I said there's no way he goes AFCON after what happened in the Egypt game, and even in the Cape Verde game, to be honest. This is a decision that doesn't surprise me. Obviously, falling out with the manager, no question about it, and they had a bit of a dodgy relationship as it was anyway. The way he got tuggled and tussled and refusing to acknowledge the manager for substituting him, you can't do that with any manager, let alone Djamel Belmadi. He's not standing for any sort of nonsense, and I assume he probably would have reached out to Said, expecting an apology, hasn't got one, so he's left out. Hasn't been performing that much with West Ham, but you have to argue the opportunities he's been handed with the national team, he's not really taken them. Every time you see a Slimani or an Amora play, they're on the score sheet or they've made a goal. You haven't really seen that with Said. It's not necessarily his fault, but you look at the squad and you think it's going to be tough for him to make it, unless he goes on a crazy run in the Premier League over the Christmas period where there's a lot of fixtures in English football. It's difficult to see how he gets his way in. Mahrez had to be in. On that right-hand side, Adam Ounas has pipped the place of Boitnani. Boitnani wasn't playing that much football with Nice. He's gone for Adam Ounas. Again, another player tried, tested, and probably would have been in squads prior to this if he was fully fit. And Adam Ounas is a player that gets injured quite a lot. And going forward, wouldn't shock me if Adam Ounas got injured before the tournament and ended up not going. But it's going to be really good to see him back involved again. So Mahrez and Adam Ounas are the two players that were on the right-hand side when we won the tournament. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on this time. On the left-hand side in the last tournament, we had Belali and Yassine Brahimi, who were both not here. Again, the pause of Algerian domestic football didn't help the Youssouf Belali cause whatsoever. Not much choices on the left. I still think Amora works well on the left. I think that is where he'll be playing, particularly when you look at the strikers that are in the squad. Ammi can play on the left as well. What a bit of depth now we've got in the forward positions, because it was looking drier than the Sahara Desert. But now we've got Guiri, Amora, Shaibi, you've got Mahrez, you've got Adam Ounas, and up front you can play Slimani, who's still here, and it looks like Slimani will go to the tournament. Incredible. I don't know how many AFCONs he would have played now. and also the return of Baghdad Bounedjah. This is a return that really splits fans down the middle. 50% are back behind him and want him. 50% say he shouldn't be there. He's done. He's finished. He's collapsed. He's been injured. He's back from injury. He's playing again. He's in. Another player that the manager trusts. Another player that's played in the cup, won the cup. It looks like, I don't know if he will take Baghdad and Slimani, because both went last time and it went really badly. Bounedjah and Slimani are quite similar, and I think it was down to me. I'd only take one of them. I do wonder if Belbadi wants to take a final look at both and decide which one he takes. I think it's a big call if he takes both. It's also a big call if he takes one and not the other one, because if you drop one, it gives you the opportunity to take a Benrahma or a Brahimi or a Belali. You get another attacking position, or a Buetnani. So it'd be interesting to see what he does, or he could drop a forward to get Banassa in the squad if he's fit. So important decisions. That's the 23. We're going to see how this squad does. If it does well and wins the games against Somalia and Mozambique, you'll probably pretty much take at least 20-21 of these to the cup. And also, when you guys look at this squad, barring one or two, does it look like a squad that can bring home the third star? So that's a squad to face Somalia and Mozambique. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. I'll see you on the next one.